kamighimo tolangit sikoy ko kamighimo taaldo way bulan ikaw ang nagbuhat sa kabituunan ikaw ang nagbuhat sa kalibutan manama mawantog ka warag po ko ilingkoy ko o Diyos kahibulungan ka busa ikaw lang ang simbahon ko
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم آمين يا رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم اجمع شامل المسلمين والكريستيان والأمم في مدينة دماغ وسلم دائما مجتمعنا هذا بالسلم والأمن والتقدم في بلدنا هذا آمين يا رب العالمين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على خير خلقه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today to praise and worship you and give you thanks for all the things you continue to provide for ourselves and our families. Father, we humbly ask for forgiveness for all the times we have offended you, when we forget to acknowledge your presence in the image of our brothers and sisters, and for moments we fail to be good stewards of the blessings you have given us. Continue to guide and protect each one of us, Lord, that we may always walk in the lights of your everlasting love and mercy. Grant us, Father, with your comfort in times of distress and with your strength in times of weakness. Bestow upon us your unending grace and healing, that we may in turn become instruments of gentleness and compassion to others. We ask all this in the name of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, with the prayer and the intercession of our Blessed Mother. Amen.
manama mawantog ka warag po ko ilingkoy ko o Diyos kahibulungan ka busa ikaw lang ang simbahon ko busa ikaw lang ang alagaran ko
Isang magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Nandito na naman po tayo para sa ating ika-10 episode ng ating Casio Tech session, kung saan we're going to utilize Casio emulators and other Casio calculators in delivering quality basic education to our learners. Again, my name is Teacher Bud, Sir Educational Technology Specialist, and makakasama po natin ngayong araw ang ating special guest, Sir Kenneth Verdan. Good morning, Sir
Hello,
Kenneth.
good morning. Good morning, teachers.
Morning po.
Good day to our viewers today. Ayan, mukhang excited na nga sila no for today.
Yes po.
Ayan, ang dami nang nagbigay ng mga greetings nila in the comments section, no. So good morning
Yes,
everyone. So I hope that you will enjoy our session for this for today, no. Of course with our guest speaker, the speaker from Casio Tech. So, ayan. Sige, mag-shoutout muna tayo, no?
Yes,
Before
sir.
we start. Yes. Sige, here in my comment section, all right? So, good morning po. Miss Eliza Orolfo from Santa Maria DepEd. Yes, yeah.
Elementary school.
Also, Miss Annabel Lor Aguilar from DMGS Matina. Good morning po.
Yes po.
Miss Raquel Edabis from Tayaba City. Wow. Miss
So,
Els
ayan,
Carmona from BGNS Division of Silay City. And ang dami palang nanood ngayon. Wow, ayan. So nakikita ko ngayon ng mga friends ko here from also Casio Education. Shout out nga pala sa aking mga friends there. Miss Christine Joy Torella. Hello. And Miss Regine May Esquilia. And Miss
Yeah.
Alisa Di Villena. Good morning. Yes.
So ayan, sir, talagang napapanood tayo sa iba't ibang panig ng Pilipinas at meron tayong mga participants sa iba't ibang bansa kasi with the use of social media, nararating natin at naaabot natin yung mga kababayan nating OFW teachers sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo at ako ay nalobat.
Yeah, that's really amazing, no? Na talagang we will not stop really helping one another in order for us to combat the challenges, especially nowadays of online teaching. So that is why we are going to share with you suggested activities that we have for this session, especially for grade 8, no? So I hope, guys, that you are excited. And just to remind you, before I start our session later on, make sure that you have downloaded the app, no, the ClassWiz FX991EX, no, emulator in your laptop, so that you'll be able to participate in our session for this morning. Yes, there you go. So shout out po sa ating mga co-teachers dyan from public school and even private school, no, na nandirito sa ating page ng DepEdTech unit. Yes. All right. So sa mga excited po for today, no, pwede ko po makita sa inyong comments. Ano pong nafe-feel nyo ngayong especially for the public school teachers na mag-start na po ng lesson or ng school year this coming Monday. So can you share your answer in the chat box? What do you feel about the opening of the school year this coming Monday? Hello. Yes. Wow. Oo, shout out sa ating mga bossing dyan. Sir Joel, hello. Sir Reynaldo Torres, hello, sir. Yes. And sa aking mga sa aming mga MTAP batch scholars, hello sa inyo dyan na mga nakikinig ngayon. There you go. Thank you so much. All right. So sa mga gusto mo magpa-shout out, hello. Comment lang po kayo dyan ngayon. All right. Yes. Sige, para naman mas maging mas masaya ang ating session, no. Babatiin natin yung mga patuloy na bumabati sa ating live streaming now. So sige, binabati ko po si Miss Tonet Nunez from Maligaya High School. Hello po sa inyo dyan. And kay Miss Julie Marquez Amador from San Mateo. Good morning po sa inyo dyan. And Miss Jeanette De Leon Mendoza from the Division of Batangas Province, Lemery District. Hello po sa inyo dyan. Alright. So ayan, may sumagot na ng aking tanong, no? Si Miss Ellen Bon, excited na siya for the opening of the school year next week. Ayan. Salamat po sa aking mga kaibigan na sumusuporta sa pag-host ko today, no? Ayan. To Miss KJ Torella, hello. Yes. Miss Sonia Posadas Mendoza, good morning po. Yes, from Bulacan din po ako. So, hello po dyan, Miss Sonia. Miss Mirna Lagne from Santo Lucia High School. Hello po sa inyo dyan. Miss Zea May Nares from Bangar District, La Union Division. Wow, I miss that place. La Union, oh my gosh. San Juan, La Union, di ba? Surfing capital of the Philippines. Wow. Good morning din po, Mr. Milven Ferreras Mendones from SDO Rizal, Bombongan Elementary School. Wow. Thank you po for watching. Yes po. Wow, grabe. Sobrang dami po talaga nagka-comment, no? Yes. I hope that you're all excited, really. And we'll be able to pull this through, definitely, by what we're going to learn today. Yes. Excited. Salamat po. Yan. Alright. Okay. Sige po. How about po na may mga private teachers dyan na nandito po sa ating page? Pwede po ba kayo mag-comment? Kamusta naman po ang inyong experience sa mga nagsimula po probably ng August or this September? Kamusta naman po tayo dyan? Ano naman po yung mga challenges na kinaharap nyo when you had your online teaching? Okay, pwede po ba nating marinig ang inyong mga makita, mabasa inyong mga sagot sa aking katanungan? Yes. Alright.
So,
ayan,
so
nandiyan na po si Teacher Baz.
Buta na nandiyan ka. Medyo nakaproblem ng aking connection.
Yan ang pinagpipili ko eh. Oo. Ang tanong ko, kasi kanina binati ko. Oo, kanina kasi so pinagbati ko lang muna sila, binati ko mga bumabati. At ngayon nag-asa ko sa mga excited na for the opening of the school year, especially for the public school this coming Monday. And right now I'm asking those who have already started their online teaching this school year, no? So ayan. So hinihintay natin yung mga sagot nila kung meron man mga private teachers here na nag-start na talaga ng school year. Ayan. O ayan si Miss Torella kasi co-teacher ko yun. So we already finished, I think, a month of online teaching and sobrang nakaka-overwhelm siya. Pero at the same time, excited because, of course, as teacher, we'd like to make an impact in the lives of our students and would like to make the most of our session with them as we really deliver the best, teaching, online teaching during this season. No? Yes, sir. All right, Teacher Baz.
So speaking of our preparations sa ating new academic year, lalo na sa mga public school, it will start on October 5, 2020. That's on Monday. So isa sa mga abangan nating learning modalities, the DepEd TV and the TV and radio-based instruction. And to give us an overview about what to expect sa ating DepEd TV and TV-based instruction, let's all watch this video.
Tuloy ang pagbabalik eskwela ngayong taon sa isang ligtas na pamamaraan. Hatid ng Department of Education at IBC 13. Ang iba't ibang learning modules na tutugon sa edukasyon ng libo-libong Pilipino.
For this episode, we will talk about the nature and process of communication.
Handang isip, handa bukas. DepEd Distance Learning Program. Lunes hanggang Biyernes mula 8:00 ng umaga. Dito sa IBC TV. Kaibigan mo.
Hello, ayan. So, isa po sa mga abangan natin yung DepEd TV na yan. And last week nagkaroon po tayo ng very successful simulation and dry run ng mga piling subjects na mapapanood po natin sa DepEd TV. And sa Monday po, we will start our DepEd TV kung saan lahat na po ng subjects and lahat na po ng grade levels ay mapapanood po natin. And wag na po natin patagalin pa. To formally introduce our guest speaker this morning, let us all welcome Mr. Kenneth F. Verdan. Sir Kenneth.
No? So grabe, no? Every time I started my online teaching, hindi po akong speaker. I-introduce ko po ang speaker natin. Alright. Every time, wait lang tayo mag-uwi ng iPad ko. Alright. For a moment. Ayan. I'll be introducing the speaker for this morning, no? Hindi po akong speaker, mukha lang akong speaker. Alright. Oo, sobrang matrabaho po, no? Anyway. Sige po, I'll get back to you for those who are, for our viewers for today, no? So, I'll get back to you later on. So, syempre, hindi na po natin patatagalin po itong session na ito. I would like to introduce our guest speaker for this session. Okay, by the way, let me just share with you the focus of our session for today. So this will cater the first quarter, week 1 and week 2 of Math 8 MELCs. And the focus of our session is to bring with you the suggested engaging activities designed for grade 8 using PowerPoint, which is, alam natin na basic ito, but I believe this will really cater and will enable our students to learn from us using this technology. And of course, hindi rin papahuli ang ating ClassWiz FX991EX calculator. So, to give you the background of our speaker, she is an alumna of FINMA National Scholarship Program. She took her bachelor's degree of BSE in Mathematics at Philippine Normal University, Manila. And she's finishing her graduate program in Master of Arts in Education, major in Mathematics at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. And, grabe, ang credentials nito. She is also a founder of Teachnology PH, FB page and the YouTube channel. So kung narinig nyo na yun, no, you can subscribe to her channel. She's the founder of Teachnology. She's also a Google Certified Educator Level 1. Wow, grabe. And of course, a JHS math teacher at Caloocan National Science and Technology High School. So let me present to you Miss Joy Villar. Hello, Miss Joy.
Hi, good morning po. Good morning, sir. Introduction. And good morning po sa lahat.
Bigyan siyang palakpak, di ba?
Salamat po. And good morning sa lahat ng teachers, parents, and students na nanonood ngayon. Thank you for giving your time, even though it's already weekend. So, sige, let me share my screen po.
Yan. Oh. So I think we're just having some technical difficulties with Ma'am Joy. So hintayin lang po natin. Ganyan po talaga if we are doing a live webinar session. So let's have Sir Kenneth. Ayan. Let's wait for Ma'am Joy. Sir Kenneth.
Habang hinihintay natin ng speaker, na-excite ang kanyang na technology. Hindi kinaya. Ng mga shout-out ng ating mga friends here sa ating page na ito, no? Grabe. And yon, may mga supporters ang ating speaker. Hello, Sir Mike General Salazar. Diba? Friend natin yan. Alright. Alright, wow. Oo nga, grabe, no? It's really all over the world. So may parang, I don't know if this is a Thai or a Vietnamese. Mr. Durong Nguyet. I don't know if I pronounce it well. Yes, grabe. Wow. Really amazing. So, ayan.
So, ayan.
Alright, so.
Yan, medyo hintayin lang natin si Ma'am Joy. Pero habang naghihintay tayo sa ating speaker, sir, we have another advocacy video from the Department of Education. I think all of us ay makaka-relate sa video na to. It talks about yung parang life ng iba't ibang tao and other personalities, and especially yung preparation ng DepEd in this new normal in education. So we will be back and hopefully kasama na natin si Ma'am Joy sa ating broadcast.
Rap.
Hello, Ma.
Hello, anak. Sorry, kakatapos lang ng trabaho ni Mama.
Okay lang po, Ma. Kakatapos lang din naman po namin maglaro.
Mukhang nandun ka ulit sa paborito mong lugar, ah. O sige, ready ka na ba? Punta ka na sa DepEd Commons. Math tayo ngayon, ha? Saan na nga ulit tayo na ito kahapon? Sa problem solving na, di ba?
Anak, sasamahan kita. Kahit isang eroplano ang agwat nating dalawa.
Okay, so I think we are now ready with our speaker. Let us all welcome again Ma'am Mary Joy Villarreal. Hello, Ma'am Joy.
Ayan. Good morning, Sir Bads and Sir Ken. Thank you so much for the introduction a while ago. And pasensya na kung nawala ako. Pasensya na kung na-drop. So, I think this is the new normal, the better normal. Makaka-encounter tayo ng mga ganitong technical errors, difficulties. But what's important is how we respond to this.
Yeah.
Yes, oo.
Yes, ayan.
Minsan na rin ako nalaglag, Miss Joy. Pero buti na lang may kaibigan akong sumalo during my online teaching. Yes, oo.
Parang kanina, nawala din ako, sir. So at least, nandiyan ka to the
Totoo.
rescue.
Yes,
And,
ganyan talaga.
yeah.
Para
Ayan nga.
may bigay natin yung ating talagang best teaching
Ang best
ever
natin.
during this new normal. Yes.
Ayan. Ito na ulit si Ma'am Joy.
Ma'am Joy,
Hello, Ma'am
pasok.
Ma'am Joy.
Ayan. Nakikita niyo
Ayan.
po, naka-share screen po ako.
Yes, ma'am. Wait lang po namin yung PowerPoint nyo.
Okay po. Naka-share screen
Ayan,
na po
siguro,
ba?
Yes po. Thank you, Sir Kenneth. And magkita-kita po ulit tayo mamaya right after the
Yes
session of
po.
Mr. Villarreal.
Okay po. So thank you so much for Casio, Factorization Philippines, and DepEd EdTech Unit for giving me this chance to share, no? Ang nararamdaman ko po ngayon sa totoo lang ay parang pakiramdam ko sa Lunes sa pasukan. Excited na kinakabahan. Excited kasi makakapag-share po ako sa inyo and kinakabahan because there are things that are not that is not beyond my control. Katulad ng internet connection and mga devices. Pero let's do it with all what we can. Okay, so siguro po, ayan, may mga bumabati po sa ating chat box, sa ating comment section. May I request everyone to just have a quick activity. Tawag po natin dito, let's check in. Isa po sa mga natutuhan ko sa isang training of teachers na kapag ka meron pong gathering like conferences for teachers or students man yan or people, it's important that we check in. Kinakamusta natin yung nasa circle natin. So to do that, let's open our browser. Sa mga naka-laptop po, just open a new tab and then type menti.com. Our code will be 958696. Ayan. Sa mga naka-phone naman po, exit lang po yung sa Facebook and open browser. Punta po tayo sa menti.com. Okay, so I have there one question. What is that one word that best describes your feeling towards distance learning? So I think kahit nasa public or private school man tayo, makakapagbigay tayo dyan ng description, no? Na parang ikaw as a public school teacher na sa Lunes pa lang magsisimula, ano yung nararamdaman mo? At sa mga nakapagsimula naman na, kamusta ang distance learning? What word would best describe that? Okay, so we can start. May mga nakapasok na po ba? Again, the code is 958696. Ayan, pasok po tayo sa Menti. May nakikita na po akong response, that is excitement. Sige po. Ayan, please enter your words. So, kamusta po kaya tayo? Sabi natin minsan, pag teacher ka, madalas kinakamusta mo yung mga estudyante. Pero may nangangamusta ba sa atin bilang teacher? So, now is the chance. Kindly describe your feeling towards distance learning. Yan, excited, challenging, exciting. Sige po, more words to come. Just one word. And you know what? This is also one of my suggested activities as we start online sessions, yung mga synchronous meetings natin with our students. It's just a simple activity. Kahit nga po sa chat box lang natin alamin yan kapag ka nag-online session tayo. At least mabigyan natin sila ng platform that we are giving them the freedom to express what they feel, what they think. Kahit hindi na yan sobrang parang ma-explain one by one ng estudyante, at least they were able to have that space na makapag-open ng nararamdaman nila, ng iniisip nila. At least we gave them the chance. Ayan, meron fighting, adza-adza po, no? Overwhelming, scary. Ayan. And 10 seconds left. I hope you can still share. Thank you for those who are responding. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you so much po, dear teachers and participants, for joining the Mentimeter.com. Halo-halo po yung nararamdaman natin, no? And for me, as your sharer today, ganun po yung nararamdaman ko sa totoo lang. Kasi wala namang handa po dito eh. Pero may magagawa po tayo para makapaghanda. Now, it's an honor me to actually share suggested activities and through my experiences sa mga weekend sesh programs na na-attendan ko po, na pina-facilitate ko, masaya po ako na nagkaroon ako ng chance na makapagbahagi. Now, let's start with a game. So, PowerPoint lang po ang gagamitin ko. The title of our game, dahil nauuso po ang iba't ibang challenge, di ba po? Ano-ano ba yung mga challenge na alam natin? Meron dyan, Manila Bay Challenge. Yan, tamang post lang ng picture sa beach. Tapos, meron dyan, huwag kalimutan ang 15 billion pesos challenge. And merong drop your cutest pic challenge. Now, in our session, we have drop your answer challenge. Now, ano po itong drop your answer challenge, no? Since nauuso naman yan, gamitin natin sa klase dahil makaka-relate yung mga batang yan. Now, we are challenged in this online session with the factors of time. So, time constraints, isa yan sa mga problema ngayon. At communication, pagbibigay ng simple but concise instruction. Now, tatandaan lang natin, if we have this drop your answer challenge, think, type, tap. So ano po tong think type tap? As the teacher flashes the question, as I flash the question later on, you are going to think of the correct answer. You will be given time. So siguro mga 10 to 15 seconds, maximum of 30 seconds, depending on the difficulty of the item. And then, ito yun. Yung tap nasa huli, huwag ka munang magta-tap ng send or huwag mo munang i-click yung send button hanggat hindi pa tapos yung time. Again, drop your answer challenge. Think, type your answer kung alam mo na yung sagot, and then after the given time, number of seconds, you tap the send button. Are we all ready? So, saan nyo po isa-send yung mga sagot ninyo sa ibibigay kong tanong? Diyan po sa comment section. Let's get started. Again, drop your answer challenge number 1. I hope we're ready. This is the first question. Ready na, mga keyboard warriors daw. So, ready na, drop your answer challenge. This is the first question. This refers to the reverse process of multiplication. Again, this refers to the reverse process of multiplication. Think, you may now type your answer. After 10 seconds, you may now tap the send button. Think, type, tap. Drop your answer challenge. Go! Again, hihintayin po natin yung pagtapos ng binigay na number of seconds. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is factoring, reverse process of multiplication. Next, drop your answer challenge. What is the greatest common factor of the numbers 15, 27, 57? Think, type, tap. You are given 10 seconds. And the correct answer is 3. Ayan, very good po sa mga nakasagot. Good job, good job. Ayan. Ulit po kailangan sumusunod tayo sa instruction. You will only tap the send button or the comment button once the time allotted to that particular item ended. Okay, third item, drop your answer challenge. Which pair of numbers is relatively prime? These are the options. Is it 11 and 44, 16 and 19, 24 and 81, or 37 and 74? Give only the letter. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is letter B. It's 16 and 19. Okay, when we say relatively prime numbers, these are numbers that has common factors that has 1 and itself as the factors. Yun lang yung common factor lang nila is 1. Okay, next. Drop your answer challenge. The area of a rectangle is 16y raised to 5 square units, meaning the area is represented by the monomial 16y raised to 5 square units. Which of the following is its possible dimensions? Let's have A, 4y by 4y, B, 8y squared by 2y, C, 4y squared by 12y cubed, D, 8y squared by 2y cubed. You are given 30 seconds to solve this item. 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Okay. The correct answer for this is, okay, item number 4. Correct answer, it's letter D. It's a2y squared by 2y cubed. This is the possible dimensions for the area that has, for the area of a rectangle, 16y raised to 5 square units. Or we say that these are the dimension for the rectangle whose area is 16y raised to 5 square units. And last item for Drop Your Answer Challenge. Which of the following is the correct factored form of 3m squared minus 6m plus 3? Which of the following is the correct factored form of 3m squared minus 6m plus 3? These are the options. And your time starts now. You're given 30 seconds. That's the last question for this challenge. 13 seconds left. Time's up. You can now send your answer. Okay. The correct answer is C. That is 3 multiplied by m minus 1 and another m minus 1. Okay, good job. Sino ang nakakuha ng 5/5? May nakakuha ba ng 5/5? 4/5? That is good. Okay, so that is one of the first suggested activity as we start our lesson in Mathematics 8. Mathematics 8 quarter 1, first week 1 and week 2 focuses on what? The different factoring techniques. Kanina tinanong po what is the reverse process of multiplication. That is actually factoring. And then kanina may nakita ako, mukhang may nalilito po sa relatively prime. So relatively prime, you are given pair of numbers and then these numbers, if they do not have any common factor other than 1, then they are considered relatively prime. So 16 and 19, the only common factor between these numbers is 1. That's why these are relatively prime. For 11 and 44, ang common factor, greatest common factor nila ay 11. For 24 and 81, anong greatest common factor nila? It's 3. And then for letter D, 37 and 74, ang greatest common factor naman nila ay 37. So I hope that's clear. Now let's proceed. Sabi nga natin for the grade 8 mathematics using our MELCs or the most essential learning competencies, for quarter 1, week 1, this focuses on this competency. Factors completely different types of polynomials. And those are the polynomials with common monomial factor, difference of 2 squares, sum and difference of 2 cubes, or sum or difference of 2 cubes, perfect square trinomials, and general trinomials. So mapapansin nyo po, ang week 1 pa lang ng first quarter ng grade 8 math ay sobrang, isang competency lang po yan, pero sobrang daming sakop. Sobrang daming sakop na mga topics because you will be covering different factoring techniques. And when we say different factoring techniques that will cover this competency, these are the following. Yung CMF, common monomial factoring, F-dots, factoring the difference of 2 squares, FSTTC or factoring the sum or difference of 2 cubes, FPST, factoring perfect square trinomials, and lastly, UFGT, or when we say we are to factor the trinomials, general trinomials. So mamaya himay-himayin natin yan. And when we are dealing with these factoring techniques, we need to consider recalling prerequisite topics. We have to make sure that these prerequisite topics or lessons are clear or mastered na ng mga learners natin. Which are the following special products na dinidiscuss nila or natin sa grade 7 math. 'Di ba? Ito yung mga kailangan ng mga estudyante. Prime factorization because you need to get the factors of these polynomials, the concept about perfect squares or getting the square root, the concept about perfect cubes or getting the cube root of perfect cubes. So, pag sinabi nating special products, ganito po yan, di ba? Meron tayong binabalikan na special product. Yung generally, when you are multiplying a monomial by polynomial, tapos when you are squaring a binomial, ito yung dalawang yon. When you are multiplying a binomial and trinomial of the form. Tapos yung mga nagiging result, ito na ngayon yung nire-reverse natin pagdating ng grade 8. We will now be teaching them how to factor polynomials. At kailangan yung special products, nagre-review sila because we need to connect these lessons. We need to integrate. Pang-refresh lang, kumbaga. So, let's start with the first type of polynomial, the common monomial factor. So, in this example, let's say we have these different polynomials. Yung una, 3b squared minus 6c plus 12. This is actually an example. Exit ko lang, no? This is actually an example of a polynomial that has a common monomial factor in terms of numerical coefficient. Siyang common factor sa variable kasi hindi lahat ng terms ay may variable. So, dito, we consider the numerical coefficients 3, 6, and 12, and then we get their prime factors. So, 3 is expressed as 3 by 1, 6 is 3 by 2, 12 is 3 by 2 by 2. And then, as we start discussing now common monomial factor, dito bumabalik yung pag-susolve sa tinatawag nating GCF. So, gamitin ko lang po yung, I'm using PowerPoint. Pwede po nating gamitin yung draw tool dito. Bawa po ito. At kung may pen tab po kayo, pwede kayong magsulat mismo sa slide. So, halimbawa na nakuha na natin yung prime factors. So, we can see that the common factor among these three numerical coefficients is 3. This is considered to be the GCF. At dahil wala naman pong common factor among the variables na nandito sa term sa 3b squared minus 6c plus 12, then we say that this is the common monomial factor. The common monomial factor of this polynomial is 3. And then for the second example, wala din po, dito naman, this is an example of a polynomial na sa numerical coefficient, wala siyang common factor other than 1. So, ang focus mo ay sa variable. So, since all the terms have variable c, we simply copy variable c, and then, ang teknika natin dyan, di ba, we choose the exponent, the exponent which is smallest. So, we have 5, 2, 3, and 10. Therefore, we choose 2, which means that for this polynomial, your common monomial factor will be c squared. Ang ginagawa ko po dito, as I start the discussion, kasi po for 4 years that I've been teaching grade 8 math, yung first 4 years ko po sa pagtuturo, na-challenging po talaga ng factoring techniques kasi sobrang dami niya. Procedure kung procedure. At face-to-face pa po yun ang tinuturo ko. Ang dami na kagad nilang question. So how much more now that we are in the distance learning? Now going back, I'm giving examples and non-example, different examples of polynomials kung saan ang polynomial pwedeng may common monomial factor na single number lang, constant term lang, katulad yung sa example 1. Ang CMF natin dito ay 3. Sa pangalawang example naman, it's only a variable with exponent c squared. And then we can also have the third one. So, try natin yung sa third one. Ayan. So, as we teach common monomial factoring, ginagamit natin mga techniques dyan. I'm sure nasa SLMs na rin to sa mga modules na create ng mga teachers natin. Factor tree method, continuous division method. But, assuming that you're already done with these methods, what other method can we use? Pwede nating subukan itong ating ClassWiz. Halimbawa, yung mga anak man po or mga estudyante nyo naman ay merong gamit na ClassWiz calculator or they have also emulator sa laptop nila. So, explore din natin kasi this will help them verify if their answer is correct. Lalo yung mga estudyante na wala namang full-time na nanay or tatay, ate na nasa bahay para tulungan sila mag-verify kung tama ba yung na-derive nilang answer. So here po, common monomial factor, what we can do is actually use the prime factorization feature of our ClassWiz. So, pwede pong pakihanda yung mga emulators natin or yung mismong device po ng inyong ClassWiz. So, prime factorization feature that is under calculate mode. So, pag pinindot po natin yung menu, that's number 1. Tapos, ang gagamitin lang po natin ay yung shift key and then yung factoring key. Or yung nasa actual key, ang itsura po nan ay ganyan. Yung DMS, degree, minute, second symbol. So, for example po, sige, practice po tayo. We need to identify, the instruction will be, we need to determine or identify the common monomial factor of the polynomial 18r raised to 4 minus 24r raised to 7 minus 36r raised to 9. So, most of the time, dahil may technique na nga po tayo pagdating sa variable, di ba? Kapag common ang variable sa polynomial, we simply use that variable and we choose the lowest exponent. Yun na yung greatest common factor among the variables. But when it comes to the numerical coefficients, may malilito pa rin dyan. So, what's good thing about this? So, for example, identify natin. So, ang hahanapin po natin ay greatest common factor among the numerical coefficients 18, 24, and 36, for example. So, using our emulator or our ClassWiz, we simply, again, punta lang po tayo, make sure na nasa calculate mode tayo. So, menu, and then 1. We type the number, so 18, press equal sign, then followed by shift, ito po, shift, and then yung factoring key. So, ano po yung napapansin yung lalabas dito? Ang lalabas po ay yung prime factors niya na naka-exponential form din. Ibig sabihin, yung mga multiplicity ng 3, di ba po ang prime factors, naglilista tayo, ang 18 will be expressed as 2 by 3 by 3 or 2 times 3 times 3. But here we are, we have display, ang dinidisplay ng ClassWiz ay naka-exponential na. So, instead of writing 2 times 3 times 3, ang ginagawa po, 2 times 3 squared. So, let's write it down. So, 18 is equal to 2 times 3 squared. Then, we have 24. Press AC lang po, and the next number is 24. Press 24. Equal sign, shift, and then factoring. So, 24 now is expressed as 2 cubed times 3. Yan, I hope nasusundan. 2 cubed times 3. And then last is 36. Again, press AC para ma-refresh lang. 36 equals shift and then factoring. So, 36 is expressed as 2 squared times 3 squared. Ayan. Ngayon, ang maganda po sa naging itsura ngayon ng prime factorization natin ng mga numerical coefficients, nagmukha siya ngayong mga parang variable with exponent. Now, dito natin mas magandang maipaliwanag na kaya kapag sa variable, it applies the technique na kapag may common na variable, kinakopya lang natin yon and then we choose the lowest exponent. So, dito po ang GF will be, syempre, sa 18, 24, and 36, makikita natin na common ang 2. Ang exponent nito ay 1, exponent nito ay 3, exponent nito ay 2. So, we will choose base 2. Among the 2s, we will choose the one with the lowest exponent, and that is 1. E common din ang base 3. dito sa 18, 24, and 36. So we simply copy the common number, which is 3, and then we choose the one with the lowest exponent. So we have here 2, 1, and 2. So we have here 3 raised to 1, which implies that our greatest common factor among 18, 24, and 36 will be the product of 2 times 3, and that is equal to 6. Yan po ba yung CMF ng polynomial? Siyempre hindi po. That is only the greatest common factor of 18, 24, and 36, which are the numerical coefficients of the polynomial. It's also important that as we discuss, we keep on using these terms, yung mga vocabulary, para naaalala nila, we put it into context. Now, this is among the numerical coefficients. But how about for the variable? Common yung r among the 3 terms, so we copy r, and then we choose the lowest exponent, which is 4. So among the variables, the greatest common factor will be r raised to 4. So ang goal natin is to determine the common monomial factor. So we simply multiply 6 and r raised to 4. Therefore, we have 6r raised to 4 as the common monomial factor of the given polynomial. Okay? Next, try tayo. Kayo naman po, teachers, using your emulators. Yan. So here, using your emulator or calculator, let's determine the common monomial factor of the polynomial. So ang instruction lang naman po ay common monomial factor, so it doesn't have to be factored out yung buong form pa muna. Sige, common monomial factor. Sige nga po, I will give you 30 seconds. Try to use your emulator, your ClassWiz, and let's identify the common monomial factor. Okay, so what will be the common monomial factor among the terms in the given polynomial? 162 m raised to 8 p minus 63 m r raised to 7 plus 36 m squared p r raised to 10. Okay, your time starts now. What will be the common monomial factor? Okay, 12 seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. The correct answer is? Okay. The correct answer will be 9m. Good job. So here po, balik tayo dun sa may emulator. Yan. I hope you were able to explore the ClassWiz. Okay, so we have here 162. Lalo kapag po lumalaki na yung numbers, malilito na yung ibang bata na mag-factor out. Pero tinatry pa rin nila. But what's good thing about the use of this technology, it assists them na may magba-validate kung tama ba yung sagot nila. So, 162 factored out, this is 2 times 3 raised to 4. So, 2 times 3 raised to 4, let's write it down. So, 162 2 times 3 raised to 4. And then our second numerical coefficient, which is 63, is equal to what? This is 3 squared by 7. So 63 is equal to 3 squared. Oops. Ang maganda dito, kailangan i-train din natin sila na ipagtapat-tapat na rin po yung common factor para mas makita nila kagad kung may common ba. And then last is 36. Shift and then factoring. 2 squared by 3 squared. So 36 is expressed as 2 squared by 3 squared. Okay, so we have here yung 2, ang meron lang naman na base 2 ay 162 and 36, meaning this is not common among the 3. So maganda rin pong magbigay tayo ng mga examples na ganito, na kapag ka nag-prime factorization, makikita natin na among the numbers that we are considering, may isa na hindi common yung 2. At kahit isa man yan, kung hindi yun common sa lahat, that's the general rule, hindi natin mako-consider na common factor yung base 2 na yan. Kasi dito sa 63, walang base 2. So we proceed to the next common, and that is base 3. At ang lowest lower will be the exponent 2. So 3 squared, that is your GCF, which is 9. At dito, may P, walang P, may P. May M, may M, may M. May R, may R, pero yung first term walang R. So that implies that the common variable among the 3 terms will be M, and the lowest exponent will be 1. That's why we have here 9M. So that's for common monomial factoring. Assuming na meron na tayong na-discuss na din sa SLMs, parang pang-supplemental din po ito, na-discuss na yung iba't ibang like factor 3 and then continuous division. Now, I will have this suggested activity as well, teachers. I think this is also a good practice for the students that they will have this what we call CMF matrix. Ano po ba yung nilalaman ng CMF matrix natin? Of course, this should contain the following information. May given kang polynomial, ipapa-identify natin yung common monomial factor, and then the third column, yung remaining factor, ano po ba yan? That will be the result when the terms in the polynomial is divided by the common monomial factor. Halimbawa po, bago natin lagyan, yan. So, start tayo. Try po natin yung number 1. Ano ang common monomial factor ng CMF, ng number 1? 141m raised to 7 minus 21m plus 69. So, the common monomial factor there will be, dahil wala namang common among the variable, hindi lahat ng terms dito sa trinomial na to ay may variable. So, we will just check among the numerical coefficients. And that is 3. So, maganda ding activity na may blank table ka. Halimbawa, pwede to actually synchronous and asynchronous session. So, kung asynchronous siya, sila lang yung sasagot niyan. Tapos, pwede nilang ma-verify using some technology-assisted distance learning tools. Pagka halimbawang synchronous sessions naman po, may blank table, tapos ang gagawin natin, papakita natin na yung sagot na sinusulat natin dito sa mismong table. So, if the CMF of the given polynomial is 3, yung remaining factor, mahahanap natin yan by how? So, sulat ko na lang dito. Let's say we have 141 m raised to 7 as our first term. This term will be divided by our derived common monomial factor, which is 3. And that will result to what? 47 m raised to 7. And then it follows, yung negative 21m divided by 3, that will be negative 7m. And lastly, 69 divided by 3, that will be positive 23. So, ito yung common monomial factor. Ito yung isa pang factor. So, pag sinabi namang factored form, we have to explain also to our students na ang factored form will be, yung itsura, it will be the form wherein we are showing the product of the common monomial factor and then the remaining factor. So, halimbawa, ganyan po. So, why is this CMF matrix important? This is anchored on the reality that we also have to train our students on following instructions and reading comprehension. Kasi may times na halimbawa, ang sinabi mo lang naman sa task, determine the common monomial factor. But because they are already trained, parang automatic na sa kanila na ang sinusulat kagad nilang sagot ay yung kompleto. Tama yung sagot, pero hindi nag-follow sa instruction. So again, this is also a good practice to teach them what's the difference among the three. Yung common monomial factor, yung second factor or yung natira pang factor, and then kapag pinapagawa ni teacher or pag pinapagawa sa task na kailangan naka-factored form yung polynomial. So, let's try identifying number 2. What will be the common monomial factor of the multinomial? Sige nga po. Medyo challenging lang yung paglagay ng exponent sa ating chat box, sa ating comment box. Okay, so what will be the common monomial factor for number 2? Ang una natin kagad titignan dyan ay meron bang common factor among the numerical coefficients? 13, 1, 26, 2, mukhang wala. So, this is an example of a polynomial whose common monomial factor will be in terms of its variable. So, syempre, proceed ka kagad. Meron bang common among the variables? Lahat ba may x? Lahat ba may y? So, what will be the correct answer? Sige, you can send your answer on the chat box or on the comment section. So, correct. That is x raised to 4y. So, we have here, sulat natin, ang common monomial factor is x raised to 4y. So, same procedure lang, kukumpletuhin lang natin yung table. We divide each term by the common monomial factor, and then on the last column, we will express it in factored form. So we are not going to complete this table. This is just a suggested activity, so you will have an idea on how to engage also your students to participate when you are using, when you are having your synchronous session. So next, let's proceed to the next type of factoring, which is factoring the difference of two squares. Ang mahalaga pong bagay na kailangan nating i-emphasize kapag ang dinidiscuss na i-factoring the difference of two squares is when we have to determine a polynomial that shows difference of two squares. Kailan ba masas binomial ay difference of? So for example, dito po b squared minus 144. When it comes to number, of course, the number must be perfect square. Ayan, yung mga constant natin. But if we are dealing with variable with exponent, masasabi nating perfect square yan when, what's the condition? When your exponent is a multiple of 2. Or in other words, when your exponent is divisible by 2. Kapag hindi yan divisible by 2, it means that the term is not perfect square. So, factoring the difference of two squares, they must show difference between them, di ba? So, halimbawa po, meron akong, sabi ko nga, magbigay tayo ng example and non-example. So, ibig sabihin, itong item number 1, this is an example of a polynomial that shows difference of two squares. However, for number 2, yes, this is binomial. At perfect square din ang bawat term niyan. 81 is perfect square. C has an exponent 6. 6 is divisible by 2. D has an exponent 14 and 14 is divisible by 2. However, this is not an example of a binomial that shows difference of two squares. Why? Because both of them are positive. Positive 81C to 6, positive D raised to 14. And lastly, baka kasi masanay naman yung mga bata na laging naka-form lang na ganyan, minus lang lagi yung operation na ginagamit. So it's also good to give an example wherein we are using the operation addition, but this is still an example of difference of two squares. Kasi ang nagiging downside minsan ng sobrang automatic na, nagiging pattern na lagi yung mga examples. But why not give such example? Tingnan niyo po yung number 3. Is the 10 a perfect square. Yes, because the exponent 10 is a multiple of 2. Ganun din ang 0 raised to 18 since 18 is a multiple of 2. Kahit gumagamit tayo ng plus na operation sign, basta magkaiba ang sign ng dalawang terms, then this is an example of a polynomial that is difference of two squares. Bakit po? Because y raised to 10 here is negative, z raised to 18 here is positive. Now, after giving some examples and non-examples of difference of two squares, we proceed to the technique, yung mga techniques natin. Diba, ang ginagawa lang naman, we simply get the square root of the first and the last term. So square root ng 144, we consider the principal root, which is 12. And then square root of b squared, we simply divide the exponent by 2. So that means square root of b squared is b. And then what goes next? Ang gagawin lang natin, we need to express. So meron tayong b and 12. B and 12. We just need to express its factors as the sum and difference of the derived values, yung b and 12. Therefore, b squared minus 44 is equal to the product of b plus 12 and b minus 12. So much for that. Paano naman natin magagamit kapag sa ClassWiz? Siyempre, ang mga bata ayaw na ayaw nagme-memorize. May times din na napaghahalo na nila yung numbers like getting the square root of larger number. Kunyari nag 200 plus na yan. Makakalimutan na nila. Kasi most of the time, ang kabisado or familiar sila ay yung first 10 perfect squares. So 1, 4, 9, and so on and so forth. Now, we can use the square root feature of the ClassWiz. So here, let's say for example, we have 121w raised to 8 minus 576r raised to 22, and we are instructed to factor it out. So saan po ba nakikita ang square root feature? Sa calculate mode lang. So we have menu. So AC muna, reset natin. So menu 1, make sure na nasa calculate mode tayo. We choose this key, yung square root natin. And then we type in the value, which is 121, and that is 11. So pang-validate lang ng kanilang mga answers. So let's say 11 yung sa 121. And then for 576, we get the square root of 576, and that is equal to 24. And then when it comes to this one, the variables, we simply divide their exponent by 2. So this given polynomial, when we factor this out, can be expressed as what? 11 w raised to 4. And then the second one will be 24 r raised to 11. So we have 11 w raised to 4 minus 24 r raised to 11. And then the other binomial should express what? The sum of these two terms times 11 w raised to 4 plus 24 r raised to 11. At syempre, kapag may fraction na, ayan, medyo kakaba-kaba na yung mga bata. But we need to, lalo na ngayon kung malayo tayo sa kanila, hindi sila right away makakapagtanong kung tama ba yung ginagawa nila. Kasi before, I also encountered some students who are asking, bawa nagbigay tayo ng supplemental activities. Papakita nila kagad, ma'am, tama po ba yung ginawa ko? But now that we are on the distance learning, I hope they can still validate their answers through this. Diba? So, paano naman po kapag involve ang fraction? So, for example, 49 over 169, and we need to get its square root. So, we click the square root key, and then, ang susunod natin ay yung fraction key, yung may numerator denominator. Then, we type the values 49, at para pumunta sa baba, that's the arrow down, navigator key, 169. Then, press equal sign, that is 7 over 13. And then what's the, so here note natin that 49 over 169 is 7 over 13, or the square root of 49 over 169 is 7 over 13. And then for 729, syempre, ang haba pa niyan pag nag-prime factor siya. So para mabigyan naman natin siya ng feeling na parang okay, tama yung nakuha ko. So after he solved for the prime factors of 729, try nating i-check kung tama ba. So again, square root of 729, then equal sign, that is 27, which implies that the square root of 729 is 27. Therefore, the factors will be 27. And then ano yung magiging square root ng b raised to 14? We simply divide 14 by 2, so that is 7, plus 7 over 13. Then yung exponent 22 will be divided by 2. So t raised to 11. And then the second factor will be the sum of these two terms na nakuha natin. So we have 27b raised to 7 minus 7 over 13 t raised to 11. Okay, so that is factoring the difference of two squares. Next will be factoring perfect square trinomials. Ayan. So from the previous lesson, may difference of two squares ka. Now, perfect square trinomials. Now, it's important to recall saan nating pwedeng i-relate itong PST or perfect square trinomials sa previous lesson nila. When they were in grade 7, they were taught about what we call special products. Specifically, ang kailangan natin dito ay yung about sa pag-i-square ng binomial. It's always true that whenever we square a binomial, the result is a trinomial, and we call it a perfect square. But on this part, if you are just introducing, it is important to highlight that not all trinomials are perfect square, di ba? Kasi later on, magkakaroon tayo ng general trinomials. So here, hindi din lagi na naka-standard form kaagad ang arrangement. Kasi dito sa example ko, let's say 14x plus 49. Teachers, madalas ito yung binibigay po nating mga type ng example, naka-form na kaagad. But an important we are teaching perfect square, factoring perfect square trinomials, we always have to start with what? Let us train them to verify if the given trinomial is actually a perfect square trinomial. And let us not generalize na kapag halimbawa yung dulo-dulo, magkabilang dulo ng trinomial ay perfect square, PST kagad yun. Why? Because we have to emphasize the important role played by the middle term. Okay? And also, aside from the important fact that we need to specify yung role ng middle term, kailangan din po hindi natin laging sinasabi na dulo-dulo yung perfect square. Kailangan bigyan natin sila ng example din na hindi naka-arrange in descending order or ascending order yung exponent. Ito walang problema because this is written in standard form. Kung maalala po ninyo sa grade 7, ang standard form of polynomial, it is written in a way that the exponents are arranged in descending order. So katulad nito, it starts with the degree 2, then paba. Yung dito po sa second example ko sa baba, yung 16 z raised to 9 plus z raised to 18 plus 64, this is actually an example of a polynomial that is not written in standard form at hindi rin siya yung exponent niya hindi rin naka-arrange either in ascending order. So, kailangan kung nag-start na tayo for factoring perfect square trinomial, siguraduhin muna natin na ang mga trinomials ay naka-arrange ang exponent whether in ascending or descending order. So halimbawa po dito, pwede nating i-arrange as 16 z, ayan. Pwede nating i-arrange as 64, halimbawa ascending order yung exponent, plus 16 z raised to 9 plus z raised to 18. Pwede naman kung standard form, z raised to 18 plus 16 z raised to 9 plus 64. Saka na tayo magkakaroon ng idea na titingnan natin yung magkabilang dulong terms if they are perfect square once na na-emphasize na natin na kailangan sigurado tayo naka-arrange in order yung mga exponents natin. Now, looking at the examples, looking at the first example, x squared plus 14x plus 49, this is in standard form. So, pwede nating i-check, i-verify if it's a PST by looking at the first and the last term. Is the last term a perfect square? Yes. Is the first term a perfect square? Yes. Pero hindi dyan natatapos ang pagiging PST ng isang trinomial. We need to verify the middle term. The middle term must be twice the product of the square roots of the first and the last term. So, here the square root of x squared is x. The square root of 49 is 7. So, in order for us to have a PST, the middle term must be double the product of x and 7. 2 times x times 7, is that equal to the middle term? Yes. If that is the case, then we say that this trinomial is actually a PST. Mas babalikan lang natin kung bakit ganun yung nagiging, bakit true siya for all. It's because of the concept of squaring a binomial. Okay. Now, gagamitin pa rin natin for FPST kapag ka nag-assessment na yung mga practice na lang para mas madali at makaproceed tayo sa mas mataas pang level of skills. Pwede na natin gamitin ulit yung square root feature ng ClassWiz natin. Halimbawa, malalaking numbers like 441. So, gagawin lang natin is to type square root of 441 to verify if it's a perfect square. So, dahil ito ay walang remainder, it means that 441 is a perfect square, then they can proceed to the verification. So, ang suggested activity ko naman po, dun sa combined na PST tsaka difference of two squares, pwede po tayong mag-riddle or decoding activity. This could be done whether synchronous or asynchronous. Ayan, ginagawa ko po talaga to sa klase. Pwedeng individual kapag sobrang dali lang naman ng topic, pwedeng by pair, pwedeng triad or group, lalo kapag maraming items. Riddle or decoding activity. Through this activity, ang mangyayari po, sa totoo lang, it's also a way to train the students na magkaroon ng independent learning. Kasi pag halimbawa, hindi sila nakakabuo ng parang may sense na word, parang titignan nila, tama kaya yung mga na-solve ko? Because this is how it goes. Riddle or decoding activity. For example, ang ipapadecode natin, what did Juan say to Maria? So the steps or the process will be this. Dalawang steps lang po. Ang instruction is to decode what Juan said by following these steps. Step 1, factor each expression in box A. So meron kang first box. And then the second one, meron kang mga blanks. On the blank, you have to write the letter of the expression that corresponds to your answer. I think some of the teachers who are teaching algebra are familiar to this. Kasi this is actually a good way to train yung mga routine examples for algebra. Ayan. So, halimbawa po ganito, teachers. Lakihan ko po yung presentation. Ayan. So, this is what we call riddle or decoding activity. Riddle kasi pwede po tayong magpahula ng mga statement. Ang ginagawa ko nga po dito before ay, kunyari mga trivia. It's my way to integrate also other disciplines. For example, geography. Magpapahula ako ng name ng place or name ng country na hindi sobrang familiar pero interesting yung background. Name of film. O kaya mga metaphors. Kaya lang, dahil naka-distance learning tayo, they have the access to search also, to read some references. Kapag gagamitin po natin ito ngayon na naka-distance learning tayo, my tip is to use riddle or statement na i-decode na hindi po searchable sa internet. Halimbawa po, yung ginawa ko dati kasi pinahulaan ko yung pangalan ng division symbol, which we call obelus. Tapos magagawa nilang mahulaan yung word na yon, yung 6-letter word na yon by answering the given problem. Pero ngayon, hindi ko pwedeng gamitin yung ganong type of question kasi they can just simply search, what is the name of the division symbol? So, lalabas na sa internet, obelus. So, you don't have that parang assurance na talagang nag-solve sila because they could just search. So, what you can do is to really think of a riddle or a statement that is not searchable. So, for example, we have here box A. Yung box A po magko-contain ng mga polynomials na ipapa-factor natin sa mga bata. And then for every item, there is a corresponding letter. Now, the second part of this activity will be the blanks. Under the blank will be the correct answer or the correct factors of a particular item. So, kung halimbawa, nag-match yung sagot ng x squared minus 64 over 169 and that corresponds to n, kung alin man yan dito, yun yung lalagyan niya ng n. So kung halimbawa yung bata, parang hindi niya nakikitang may sense yung nabubuong word, metacognition. Hala, parang yung processing sa utak niya, baka may mali akong nagawa sa pagfa-factor out. So that is independent learning and still guided through this activity. So maybe we can try. Kaya po kaya nating i-try, teachers? Sige po, I will be giving you 3 minutes. Given this box A and then the blanks, ano kaya ang sinabi ni Juan kay Maria? Sige po, try natin, teachers. Kayang-kaya niyo yan. Our time starts now. Ayan, ano kaya ang sinabi? Okay, so time starts ha. 3 minutes po. Okay, you have 2 minutes left. Ano kaya ang sinabi ni Juan kay Maria? Mukhang yung mga tinatype niyo po sa comment section, yun po ba yung answer natin? Okay, you have 2 minutes left. Ano kaya ang sinabi? Sige po, while we are waiting for your answers in the comment section, shout out po sa mga katrabaho ko sa Caloocan National Science and Technology High School. Magandang umaga po, especially to my math colleagues in math department, headed by our coordinator, Mrs. Rocky. Hello po. And to our principal, Mrs. Priscilla T. Katanawan, magandang umaga po sa inyo. Especially to my math. Oh, Ma'am Vinya is also watching. Hello po, ma'am. Watching it, ma'am. 30 seconds left. 10 seconds left. Ano po ang sagot? Ano ang sinabi ni Juan kay Maria? Okay, stop. Okay, the correct answer is, wait, tingnan natin yung comment box kung may nakatamang sagot. The correct answer is, wait, tingnan natin yung comment box kung may nakatamang sagot. Ayan, ano kaya ang sinabi ni Juan kay Maria? Ang tamang sagot ay, ayan, tama po. Ang tamang sagot ay, Guten Morgen. Do you know what does it mean? Yung mga binabati niyo po dyan sa comment section. But German language. So, good morning. So, magandang umaga po sa lahat. Actually, yung pag-shoutout ko kanina, that's already a clue. Okay, so that is another suggested activity if we want to give our learners, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous, the activities that could help them to have independent learning. And then at least they could monitor themselves if they are doing the right thing in factoring, in applying the factoring techniques. So that is riddle or decoding activity. Okay, let's proceed. So, syempre, sa week 1, kasama pa rin yung pagpa-factor ng sum or difference of two cubes. So, just like what we had a while ago, it's important to identify whether a binomial is sum or difference of two cubes. Dalawa lang naman po ang requirement para masabing ang isang polynomial ay pwedeng ma-factor out using factoring the sum or difference of two cubes technique. 'Di ba? Una, dapat binomial. Pangalawa, dapat parehas ng terms ay perfect cubes. When it comes to numbers, syempre, perfect cubes madaling ma-identify. Kapag kinuha mo yung cube root nun, walang butal. Kapag halimbawang when it comes to variable and exponents naman, we can say that the term is perfect cube when its exponent is what? A multiple of 3 or simply, in other words, divisible by 3. Sige. Balik po ako dito sa DepEd EdTech unit. Yan. Very good. Guten Morgen. Yan. May mga humabol na sagot. Okay. So, here, an example here is x raised to 9 plus 27. Again, two requirements. It must be binomial and then the terms must be perfect cubes. Yes, 27 is a perfect cube. And then x raised to 9 is also perfect cubes. Also a perfect cube rather because the exponent is divisible by 9. Divisible by 3 or a multiple of 3. So, getting the cube root, exit ko po ha. Getting the cube root of x raised to 9 is like dividing 9 by 3, which means that cube root of x raised to 9 will be x cubed. And then the cube root of 27 is what? 27 is the result when you multiply 3 by 3 by 3. So therefore, cube root of 27 is actually equal to 3. So what does it mean? Ang factoring ng sum of difference of two cubes, follows the form. Diba? Matatandaan natin, if it follows the form, if we have a plus b as the binomial, ang kapartner niyang trinomial ay a squared minus the product of a and b, and then b squared. So here, your first term is x cubed, and then your second term is 3. So your binomial will be x cubed plus 3. Sinundan lang natin yung operation na ginamit dun sa given polynomial. And then what will be the trinomial factor? It must be x raised to 6 minus, so opposite na yung sign, 3x cubed plus 9. So this is now the factored form of x raised to 9 plus 27. Now as we try the second one, 8z raised to 6 minus 343, a raised to 18, b raised to 15. Kung perfect cubes na ang pinag-uusapan, gamitin natin, i-maximize natin yung feature ng ClassWiz, which is what? Under the calculation mode, it must be the cube root feature. The cube root feature of the ClassWiz can be accessed through this. Yung kaninang key na ginamit natin for the square root, sa taas lang nun ay cube root. So, let's have an example. 8z raised to 6. Okay, so for example, we use, nasa calculate mode na tayo, we press shift, and then the cube root key, then enter only the number, then equal sign, which says that the cube root of 8 is 2. What about the cube root of 343? So, AC lang natin. Again, shift, and then the cube root key, enter the number 343, and then equal sign, that is 7. And then, can we now form the binomial? Identify muna natin yung cube root ng z raised to 6. So, dividing 6 by 3, that is z squared. Dividing 18 by 3, that is 6. And dividing 15 by 3, that is 5. So, we have b raised to 5. Now, we can form 2z squared. Anong sign? It will be minus because it is, the given has minus sign as the operation. So, minus 7a raised to 6, b raised to 5. And then your trinomial factor will simply be the square of the first term. So, we have 4z raised to 4. Gagamitin din ay plus na dapat. Product of these two terms, so we have 14z squared, di na natin i-arrange yung letters, a raised to 6, b raised to 5, and then the last one will be the square of the second term, which is plus 49, a raised to 12, b raised to 10. So this is now the factored form of the given difference of two cubes. Okay, so as simple as that for sum or difference of two cubes. Now, so again, that's with the use of cube root feature para ma-validate lang nila kung tama yung ginawa nilang prime factorization. And then, last is the general trinomials. Now, when we say general trinomials, there could be two cases or two categories. Yung una, yung form ng trinomial mo ay x squared plus bx plus c. At anong implication nun? That the numerical coefficient of your leading term is 1. For case number 2, ax squared plus bx plus c, which implies that a here is not equal to 1. Ready na ba tayo? Okay, so here, for general trinomial, it's important to, di ba, meron tayong iba-ibang techniques dito eh. Yung case 1, madali pa. Kasi ang gagawin lang natin, ang bibigyan natin ng emphasis dito, yung first and last term. If we know that this is general trinomial, we simply find pairs of factors for the constant term or yung last term. So since this is general trinomial of this form, it's clear to us, it is true, that these are actually quadratic expression. Bakit po quadratic expression? Look at the highest exponent or the degree. Quadratic expressions are expressions with the degree that is equal to 2. So we need to find the pairs of factors for the constant term or the value of c. In this case, it's 20. Na dapat hahanapin din natin yung pairs of factor ng x squared. But since this is case 1, madali lang po. Kasi x squared naman yan eh. So ang square root lang naman, or ang factors lang naman ng x squared ay x. Ang problem na lang or ang hahanapan na lang natin ng solution is the last term or the constant term. Ano yung pairs of factors ng 20 na kapag ka-inad natin will be equal to the middle term. In this case, our middle term is 9. So, syempre, marami tayong pairs of factors that will be equal to 20. Pwedeng 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. Ayan. So, may 3 pairs of factors. What's good thing about this first example, they are both positive. So, hindi na natin ko consider yung negative pairs of factors. Kunyari, negative 2 times negative 10, and that will be equal to positive 20. So, hanap na lang tayo between these 3 pairs na magsasum up to 9. and that is the pair 4 and 5, which implies that the factors of x squared plus 9x plus 20 will be, syempre, ang first term ay x. That comes from, that is from the result of getting the square root of x squared. And then we also have the factors of 20, which will be 4 and 5. At dahil ang middle term naman ay positive, this is just simply the sum of x and 4, the sum of x and 5, which now results to the factored form of the trinomial x squared plus 9x plus 20 into x plus 4 times x plus 5. That's for case 1. Case 2, paano kapag ang a ay hindi na equal sa 1? Dito na ngayon ang challenging. Mas challenging ngayon. Kasi mas marami kang i-consider. Dito madali pa to kung ang a mo ay prime number, such as 2, 3, 5. Kasi ang mas konti lang yung combination ng pair of factors. Pero kapag ka naging composite na yan, mamaya, sobrang challenging na. So mamaya, sobrang laking tulong ng magiging magagamit natin dito sa emulator. So here, let's say 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. Bakit natin nasabi na mas maraming i-consider? So halimbawa sa 6, may factor siya na 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Ang tanong, pwede rin ba, dahil sila ay opposite sign, kukonsider din natin yung negative 1 times negative 6, and then negative 2, and negative 3. Kasi all of these pairs of factors will be equal to 6. And then dahil ang first term mo naman ay 2x squared, syempre ang factors niyan ay 2x and x. But again, katulad lang sa case 1, your goal is when you have, when you do the reverse process, with, which is by FOIL method later on, dapat equal siya dito sa negative 7x. So kung titignan natin, ayan. So may mga combination ka but the middle term is negative, pwedeng i-omit na natin to. Focus ka dito sa 2 pairs of factors na parehas negative. So ano po yung mangyayari? Pwedeng 2x minus 1, ano yung mga combinations mo? And then x minus 6. Pwede ring magkaroon ng combination na 2x minus 6 or x minus 1. And then considering the second pair of factors, 2x minus 2, x minus 3, or maybe you can also have 2x minus 3, x minus 2. But what is your goal? Nagkaroon ka na ng list of possible combinations of these factors. Anong goal mo? Na kapag ka simplify mo to, FOIL method, ang middle term mo should be equal to negative 7 over x. So here, 2x, so ang i-add lang naman natin dito ay outer and inner term. So we have negative 12x and negative 1x. That results to negative 13x. So cannot be yung first combination. Dito naman, negative 6x plus negative 2x, that is equal to negative 8x. Hindi pa rin equal sa middle term natin, which is negative 7x. And then here, negative 2x times negative 6x, that is also negative 8x, hindi pa rin. But the last one, we have negative 3x times negative 4x, and that is equal to negative 7x, which tells us that this is the correct factors of this quadratic trinomial, of this trinomial. Sobrang haba. So how can we simplify that? How can we simplify that using our emulator? Wait po, may i-address lang po akong tanong. Sabi po ni Ma'am Ann Francisco, anong MS po gamit na may draw sa PowerPoint presentation? I'm using po yung Office 365 account po na provided ng SDO Caloocan. So, kaya meron po siyang draw tool dito. Kaya nakakapagsulat po ako using this pen. Ayan. So, going back po. This is our solution for the given trinomial 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. But how can we try to solve or how can we factor general trinomials using Casio ClassWiz 991EX? Ito po, shift solve feature ang gagamitin natin. There could be two ways on how we can access this shift solve feature. Una, kailangan nasa equation or function mode ka muna. And then we navigate using this navigator keys, yung up, left, right, down, and then equal symbol, and then the key 2, number 2 key. And then the other one will be using alpha, and then the negative sign. Yan po, lalakihan ko. So ito po yung dalawang ways on how we can access. First method will be yung sa red. So let me demonstrate that po. So, example, yung sinagutan natin kanina, alam na natin yung answer dito, di ba? X squared plus 9x plus 20, 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. Using now the emulator. Ayan. Press menu. Sabayan nyo po sana ako. Press menu. First method muna on how to access the equation and function mode. Navigate tayo using these navigator keys. Hanapin natin yung alpha key na naka-equation function mode, then press equal sign. Let's choose number 2, which is polynomial. And what degree are we going to choose? Since this is general trinomials of the form x squared plus bx plus c and ax squared plus bx plus c, we will choose 2 because the degree of the polynomial is 2. This is a quadratic trinomial. Now, ano po yung mga i-enter nating numbers dito? The values of a, b, and c. So, halimbawa, sa x squared, ang a po niyan ay 1, ang b po niyan ay 9, at ang c po niyan ay 20. So, let's just simply enter, kasi naka-standard form na po yan, 1 equals 9 equals, and then last 20 equals. Then press another equal sign. Lalabas po ay x equals negative 4. X sub 1, ibig sabihin first value of x. Then second value of x is negative 5. Now, when we are using this shift solve feature of ClassWiz 991EX, we need to emphasize to our learners na ang nakukuha or ang dinidisplay ng calculator ay yung value ng x that will make the expression equal to 0. Ano pong ibig sabihin? Na kapag sinubstitute natin yung values ng x na to dun sa given quadratic trinomial or quadratic equation, the expression will now be equal to 0. So, halimbawa po, at bakit dalawa yung nakukuha nating values? Because the degree is 2, meaning there are 2 roots for this quadratic equation. Parang yung quadratic trinomial natin, dahil inequate na natin siya sa 0, so the first value na nakuha natin is negative 4. The second one is negative 5. At kanina, kung babalikan po natin yung display ng calculator, ito po yung emphasize natin. Meron naman po siyang parang instruction sa display. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. X is negative 5. Parang sinasabi niya that ax squared plus bx plus c will become 0 when x is equal to negative 5. And it will become x is equal to negative 5 kung iba-backward solution lang natin. This x equals negative 5 would imply na yung x plus 5, inequate kasi natin sa 0. So yung equation na yan, yung linear equation na x plus 5 equals 0, it will actually become x equals negative 5. So ano pong implication nung nakuha nating sagot dun sa ClassWiz when it comes to dealing with the factors of this general trinomial? So ibig sabihin, yung x equals negative 4, that is actually the binomial x plus 4 equated to 0. Diba? And then yung x equals negative 5, that's the result when x plus 5, the binomial x plus 5, is equated to 0. Which means that the factors of x squared plus 9x plus 20 is actually x plus 4 and x plus 5. Parehas ang nakuha natin kanina. Now, ito na. Kapag nandun na po tayo sa case 2, which is ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 1, na sobrang challenging lalo kapag nagkataon na yung a mo ay opposite din. Diba? So, ang gagawin natin, ganun lang po. So, let me clear this slide. So, clear natin yung slide. Ang focus naman po natin ngayon ay dito sa pangalawang example. So, lipat ko lang po yung emulator sa kaliwa. Ayan. So, again, we press menu, and then we choose alpha for the equation function mode, then press equal sign. Press number 2 for polynomial, and we choose 2 which is the degree of our quadratic trinomial. Now, 2x squared minus 7x plus c. Ang value ng a natin ay 2. Ang value ng b natin, kasama po dapat yung sign, is negative 7. And then, ang value ng letter c ay 6. So, dahil nandun na tayo sa ating equation function mode at nakadegree 2 na siya, what we need to do is to enter the values of a, b, and c. So, we press 2 for a, then equals, press negative 7. Ito po yung negative sign, no? Yan. Negative and then 7 equals sign. Lakihan natin. And then yung last, which is the constant, is positive 6. And then we press equals sign. Ayan. So, naka-enter na lahat ngayon. So, let's press another equal sign. Ano po ang nakikita natin? Note natin the first value of x na pinakita ay 2. Sige, note lang natin. Pag prines mo ulit ng another equal sign, ang lalabas na second value of x, that will make that trinomial be equal to 0 is 3 halves. So, bali, ang papagawa lang natin, if these are linear equations, ipapabalik lang natin sa mga bata into an expression. So, x equals 2 implies that this is the binomial x minus 2 equated to 0. Diba? Ngayon, kung nasa case 2 po tayo at ginagamit natin yung ClassWiz, expect po tayo lagi that one of its roots, one of the values of x na i-display ng calculator ay naka-fraction. So we have here the linear equation x is equal to 3 halves. So we have here, ang gagawin lang natin para gawin natin siya ulit na linear expression, hindi equation, is to simply multiply the whole equation by 2. So we have 2x equals 3, 2x minus 3. Diba po? Or another way of doing this is by cross multiplication, cross multiplying. Diba meron tayong x is equal to 3 halves. So cross multiply, we have 2x equals 3. And then ganun pa rin, that is actually 2x minus 3. Na anong ibig sabihin nito? That the factors of the given trinomial, which is 2x squared minus 7x plus 6, ang ibig sabihin, ang factors po natin, ang factored form po niyan ay x minus 2 times 2x minus 3. Balikan natin yung solution natin kanina na nag-manual tayo. Is that the same? Yes, x minus 2. At gusto kong matry natin gamitin ito na, sige po, your turn teachers. Pero we only have limited time. So, ang gagawin natin, ang try natin, kasi madadali lang naman yung, mas madali naman kapag case 1, try natin tong number 4, composite. Diba, imagine, if you are doing it manually, papamanual natin yan sa mga bata, marami yang gagawing pair of factors, yung mga combination. So, magkakaroon po sila ng trial and error method na tinatawag. So, kunyari, sa negative 4, ang i-consider nila dito, pwedeng negative 1, positive 4, negative 4, positive 1, o kaya negative 2, positive 2 na pair of factors. Sa last term pa lang po yan sa constant. Eh, how much more sa 9x squared? 9 is a composite, di ba? So, meron yan 3x, 3x, 9x, tsaka x. So, imagine that 2 pairs of factors para sa first term, 3 pairs of possible factors para sa last term. Magta-trial and error sila. Tapos, sobrang napagod na sila, hindi man lang nila mabe-verify kung tama yung gawa nila. So, let's try applying our ship solve feature in the ClassWiz. So, ang gawin po natin for number 4, lipat ko po ulit ito dahil mas maraming space dito. Ayan. So, menu. Saan po tayo pupunta? Sa equation function mode. So, sige po. Menu. Calculate mode muna tayo. Yung second method sa pag-access ay ganito po ha. So, we have alpha, press alpha, and then yung negative sign. Ay, sorry. Menu, sorry. Okay, turn on muna natin. So, menu, and then alpha, and then the negative sign. Ayan. So, napunta na po tayo dun sa page na yon. And then we choose polynomial, then select 2 as the degree. Now, what are the values of your A, B, and C? So, we have 9, -5, and -4 respectively. So, let's press 9, then equal symbol, -5, so negative sign, 5 equals, then -4 equals. Then press another equal sign, lalabas yung value, first value ng x which is 1, and then second value, -4/9. Okay, note natin, ang lumabas for number 4, so for number 4, ang first value ay 1, and then the second value is -4/9. So ano pong gagawin kapag nakuha na natin yung values ng x using the shift solve feature? So itatransform lang natin itong linear equation na to into a linear expression. So this will be x minus 1, and then this one multiply, transforming it into a linear expression that becomes now 9x plus 4. And what does it mean? That 9x squared minus 5x minus 4 can be factored out using the binomial x minus 1 and another binomial 9x plus 4. Negative 1 times 4, yes, it's -4. 9x times x, that's 9x squared. Yung gitna, negative 9x plus 4x, that's equal to the middle term, which is -5x. So we were able to identify the factors of this trinomial kahit na composite yung first and last term niya. And for the second week, syempre, ang focus naman po natin, teachers, is to teach our learners to solve problems involving factors of polynomials. So we have here, so an example po, a carpet owner determines that the daily revenue in pesos earned by his store on the sale of X square meters of carpet is given by the equation R is equal to X squared plus 27X. Again, R stands for the revenue, and then X represents the number of square meters of the given carpet. So may dalawa po tayong tanong. How many square meters of carpet must be sold if the revenue from the carpet has to be 3,850 pesos? And then yung second question, syempre aligned yan dun sa model, sa parang minodel na equation, R is equal to X squared plus 27X. Second question, how much will be the revenue if the store sells 100 square meters of carpet? Okay, can we try answering this all together? Sige po. We still have time. Sige, let's try to answer. Water break lang po ako. What's your answer for letter A? How many square meters? Ibig sabihin, what will be the value of X? How many square meters of carpet must be sold if the revenue from the carpet has to be 3,850 pesos? Sige po, you can send your answer. Hindi lalagpas ng 100. Crew, hindi lalagpas ng 100. Ayan. What will be the value of your X? How many square meters of carpet ang kailangang matinda para ang revenue ni carpet owner ay 3,850. You would notice the first problem that I gave is a problem that involves money. Kasi sa totoo lang po, kapag ang mga estudyante, binigyan mo ng word problem, maganda na bigyan mo rin sila ng word problem that involves money. Kasi parang para sa kanila, mas madali nilang naintindihan. Maybe it's because it is something that is relatable. Diba? Lalo kung ang bata ay business-minded, they would get this idea. Okay. What's the correct answer? Very good. Nice one, Sir Hiljon Basa. The correct answer for letter A is 50. The number of square meters that has to be sold, that must be sold, should be 50 square meters. Para ang revenue ay 3,850. How about letter B? magkano naman yung revenue? Ibig sabihin, ang nawawala naman ay yung value ng R given that X is 100 kasi 100 square meters. How much will be your revenue? Magkano po kaya? Malaki-laki kasi 100 square meters. Okay, so let's use. So dito po, paano po nakuha ang 50? So here, ang sabi natin for letter A, diba, that is the working equation. For letter A, kailangan ang R niya ay maging 3,850. So let's substitute R, which is the revenue, with 3,850. Then we write x squared plus 27x. So this equation can actually be written as what? X squared plus 27x minus 3,850. Since nag-addition property of equality na tayo, this will now be equal to 0. So ano pong nangyari? Naging quadratic equation na yung working equation natin. So how do we solve that? Again, the shift solve feature of ClassWiz can be used here. So we choose equation function mode, polynomial, degree 2. So ano yung i-enter natin sa calculator? Of course, the value of A, B, and C. In this example, the values will be 1, 27, and negative 3,850 respectively. So we have 1 equals 27 equals negative 3,850 equals. Then press another equal sign. Ang unang lalabas na value ay 50, ang pangalawa ay negative 77. How do we explain this answers from the calculator to our learners? Ma'am, bakit dalawa yung lumabas na values, 50 and negative 77. But the one that we chose is the positive 50. Bakit po? Because we are talking about x as the square meters, the number of square meters. So we are talking about measurement, and there is no negative measurement. That's why we will choose the value that is positive. So in letter A, the number of square meters must be 50. In order for the carpet or owner must have a revenue that is 3,850. And then for letter B, okay, thank you Sir Hilzon for answering. That is 12,700 pesos. That's correct. So, ano lang po ang gagawin natin? R is missing or R is unknown. So, we simply substitute X with 100. 100 squared plus 27 times 100. Diba? Okay, so pwedeng gamitin ng calculator. Pwedeng mag-manual computation, then you have 12,700 pesos. Okay. We can also have this kind of problems. Para i-connect na natin yung special products, yung gamit ng special products, tsaka yung mga factoring technique. Sige po, for 20 seconds, my dear math teachers and students who are watching now, even the parents, pwede niyong itry to. Ang tanong, if the square of the binomial x plus y is equal to 49, tapos ang value daw kapag inad ang x squared at y squared ay 29, the question is, what is xy? This can actually be integrated with the step of squaring a binomial that has a form x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. So, ibig sabihin, kapag in-expand natin yung square of binomial, or square ng x plus y, ang value niya daw ay 49, pero it's already given that portion of it, yung sum ng x squared ay y, at y squared ay equal sa 29, ano ang value ng xy? Tingnan nga natin, time starts now, 20 seconds. Sige, go students, parents, and even teachers, you can try this. What will be the value when you multiply x and y? What's the product? What's the result? 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, time's up. So, anong sagot? So, syempre, may x squared plus y squared ka na ang value ay 29. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa nasama yung portion na 2xy. Pero ang natitira na lang na value is the difference of 49 and 29, which is 20. And xy is simply the half of, this is just the half of 2xy. So we simply divide 20 by 2, and that is 10, which implies that the value of xy is 10. Ayan, good job. Not 14.5, but it's 10. And last problem. It's also good to integrate other field of math, like geometry. So the area of a rectangle is given by the expression. So sa mga problem, mainam din na hinahayaan natin yung mga bata na kapag tumingin sa polynomial, na-identify nila kagad kung anong uri ng special products ang related dito, o kaya anong factoring technique ang applicable para ma-factor out niya ito. So the area of a rectangle is given by the expression. So this is a trinomial. So meron siyang choices, is it a PST or this is an example of a general trinomial. So dahil ang 4 at 6 ay hindi perfect squares, then this is an example under the category of FGT. Diba? General trinomial, yan. So first question, what is the length of the rectangle if its width is x plus 2? So, paano natin sasagutan ito? Sige, integrate natin si calculator. Sige. Ayan, integrate natin si calculator, si ClassWiz. So, again, using the shift solve method under equation function mode, let's choose 2. So, ano ba yung value ng ano ba yung value ng A, B, C natin in this example? So, we have 4 for A, 5 for B, and negative 6 for the value of C. Then, we enter or we press equal sign. Ang lalabas ay 3/4 and then yung isa, negative 2. Now, in letter A, meron kayong mapapansin that the width of the rectangle is given and it is x plus 2. This is actually the one displayed in the calculator na equal sa negative 2. Tapos, meron siyang isa pang value ng x. Diba? Which is 3/4. So, ang hinahanap ay length. So, if the length here on the displayed answer in the calculator is 3/4, anong rule natin kanina? Gawin mo lang linear expression yung linear equation na yan. So, transforming this equation into an expression, multiplying the whole equation by 4 or simply cross-multiplying, we have 4x now, which is equal to 3. Pero ang goal mo, maging linear expression yan, so we have 4x minus 3, which gives us the answer, or for us to answer letter A, what is the length of the rectangle, the correct answer will be 4x minus 3 units. And then, for letter B, tama, if you have x is equal to 8, ano pong 8 centimeters, ang gagawin lang natin dyan is to simply substitute. So, 4 times the square of 8, excuse me, plus 5 times 8 minus 6. So, 4 times 64 plus 40 minus 6 is equal to what? Okay, we have 290 centimeters. Thank you so much po, teachers, for answering. Very good po. And that is the last part of quarter 1, week 2, which involves problems about factoring. Now, meron lang po akong extra tip. Kapag halimbawang gusto po natin magpa-activity, ito po siguro yung isa sa principle na pinanghahawakan ko, no, in preparation for the opening of classes. I believe that all the webinars given to us, sobrang ideal ng mga strategies. Ang gaganda po talaga ng mga interactive activities, lalo kapag gumagamit tayo ng mga ibang sites. Kanyari, Kahoot, yung Mentimeter na ginamit natin kanina, Padlet. But I also realized that our learners, maswerte na lang tayo kung ang mga learners natin ay may gamit na at least one device. I don't know if you would agree to me na ang pinaniniwalaan ko, it's good that our learners will have less clicks. Sa akin, parang less clicks na gagawin nila, less reason para ma-feel nila na nawawala sila or nag-struggle sila. Let's remember that math is already a challenging subject, so let's try to simplify it by giving concise and simple instructions, and i-consider din natin yung resources na meron sila. Especially for those who are teaching in the public school and regular public school, yung mga students natin, maswerte na lang kung may at least isang device na ginagamit, isang cellphone. Kapag ginagamit po kasi natin minsan yung katulad ng ginagamit natin sa webinars, katulad kanina yung pamenti.com, naisip ko lang, kailangan pang mag-exit ng bata kung wala siyang second device. So parang mas, mas may reason pa siya na ma-feel niya na ang hirap naman ng mga kaganapan. So I would suggest that whenever we give activities, synchronous man or asynchronous, especially yung mga engaging activities, let's maximize the use of PowerPoint as well. So meron po ako dito, Prepare. It is actually adapted to the original PowerPoint game titled Roleta ng Kaalaman. Roleta ng Kaalaman. This is actually originally designed by my co-FINMA scholar, Miss Angelica Agunod. Shout out po kay ma'am. Maraming salamat sa pagpayag na gamitin po itong template niyo. Kung gusto niyo po makakuha ng mga ganitong template, PowerPoint lang po ang gamit dito. With animations and with the creativity of mga insert and sa page nila. Nagawa nilang interactive. No need na si student ay mag-access pa ng other side. At ganun din po kayo teachers para less bandwidth ang gagawin namin and less hassle na mag-lipat-lipat ng topic. So ito po, sa Roleta ng by Bagtas Facebook page, nag-post po yan sa Facebook page. Yung ginawa ko po ay modified it into a math lesson. So since we are talking about factoring techniques, I titled it Wheel of Factors. So this is Wheel of Factors. Kapag clinic po natin yung play, mapupunta po tayo dito sa Roleta. So syempre, ang original po niya nakalagay Philippines, but you can modify it as feature. So as we click spin or stop, ganito po ang mangyayari. So I'm not using any website. I'm not using any external website. It's just a PowerPoint. So mas tipid po yung software na to. And you can actually follow their page. Mas marami po lang matutunan kung paano po gumawa ng interactive PowerPoint games. So halimbawa, stop po tayo. I just prepared one question for him. So halimbawa, nag-stop siya sa A. I-click natin yung A. Ang tip lang po dito sa ating Roleta ng Kaalaman o Wheel of Factors ay paglagay ng animation, paglagay ng audio, at paglagay ng mga yung tawag nito, hyperlinks. So for example, you are to determine the binomial factor of x cubed minus 512. So it's also, you can present it this way. As for example, may time limit kayo, let's say 30 seconds, 1 minute. Pag tapos na, you can click the answer. It's also a good chance for us to have this kind of presentation if we're trying to review the students para ma-practice pa sila dito sa topic natin, sa current lesson natin. So aside from just giving the answer on the given task, pwede ring ilagay natin, isama natin yung explanation, yung procedure. So for example, di ba ang tanong kanina, just determine the binomial factor of the binomial x cubed minus 512, which is an example of what? Difference of two cubes. So dito, naglagay din ako sa presentation, naka-blank yung binomial, given yung trinomial, para nakita nila visually kung ano yung hinahanap. Okay. Then, as we present the answer, so meron tayo dito, the binomial factor of x cubed minus 512 is x minus 8. So, sasamahan natin na explanation, we simply get the cube roots of x cubed and 512. Since the given binomial is a difference of two cubes, we will use the minus sign between the two terms. Then, halimbawa, tapos na sila sa task na yan, tawag ka na naman ng ibang estudyante. we spin the wheel of factors, stop. Tapos, for example, punta ka sa next question, isang question lang po yung prepare ko dyan. Yan, then answer, next, and then so that's an example. That's my last suggested activity for the topic factoring techniques kasi sobrang dami nila. So, para naman mas enjoying, 'di ba? May nakikita namang bago yung mga estudyante natin. Gamitin natin itong PowerPoint. Maximize natin yung paggamit ng PowerPoint saka ng mga emulators natin at calculating tools na meron tayo. Okay, so I'm also encouraging the parents and students to have this kind of tool kasi it's a good investment. And when we say investment, hindi naman siya short term lang. I have my calculator when I was in college na until nagkatrabaho ako, nagagamit ko pa rin. So nasa pag-aalaga lang din ng gamit. So kung nag-i-invest nga po tayo sa mga gadgets natin like cellphones, I hope you can also invest to an educational device like the ClassWiz emulator. So that's all for my sharing. Ma'am, baka po pwede pahingi ng PowerPoint. Sige po ma'am, you can send me a personal message and I will also ask the permission of Ma'am Angel. Tip Ma'am Samyo Helen, pwede nyo pong i-follow ang Facebook page din po ng Bagtas. Ang pangalan po, Bagtas Facebook page. Sila Ma'am Angel Agunad po yun nandun. Shout out kay Ma'am. Maraming salamat po talaga. Ang ganda ng mga PowerPoint ninyo. Doon po, nagsishare talaga sila ng mga templates for the PowerPoint, for the interactive PowerPoint. Tapos tayong teacher, depende sa discipline na tinuturo natin, imo-modify na lang natin. Just like what I did for the lesson about factoring techniques. So I converted ruleta ng kaalaman sa Filipino into wheel of factors for Math 8. So that's all for my sharing. I hope you were able to learn something. And just to end, kung meron po tayong check-in kanina, siguro iba nagla-lunch na, medyo late lunch na nga tayo. I hope mag-check out din tayo. So mapapansin nyo po, sinasamahan ko ng mga ganitong activity like check-in, check-out because I believe na sobrang challenging ng pagtuturo ngayon. Yung ma-target yung cognitive skills and psychomotor skills sa distance learning, sobrang challenging po. Pero wag natin kalimutan na may third domain pa tayo na kailangan din i-hit or i-target, which is the affective domain of our students. So I hope we can also have this kind of activities wherein we are giving them space, giving them chance na makapag-express ng saloobin, ng thoughts nila, ng emotions nila, kahit sa simpleng activity lang nito. So again, may I invite you for a checkout activity using Mentimeter. So just go to menti.com and let's use the code 8695010. Ito yung pinaka-checkout natin. Gusto ko naman pong malaman kung kanina tinanong ko ano yung best word that would describe your feeling towards distance learning. This time, I would want to know what will be your commitment sa mga nanonood po na teachers, educators, parents, tsaka estudyante. What will be that one commitment as an educator, a parent, or a student now that, hindi ko nadugtong one commitment as an educator, a parent, or a student towards distance learning. So ito yung ating checkout activity. Sige po. Kindly join using the code 8695010. Sige, we have 1 minute to wait for your answers. Ano kaya yung one commitment? It could be a phrase, it could be a word. Anong makocommit natin sa ngayon? Now that we are experiencing, yung mga hindi po makapag-menti.com, para at least maka-participate pa rin po kayo, pwede nyo isend yung sagot niyo sa comment section na lang. Ayan, gusto ko yung sagot na yan. Invest with calculator. Ayan, magandang commitment po yan kasi magagamit nyo naman pa. Gumastos ka na nga lang din, mag-invest ka na dun sa magandang quality, saka sa makakatulong sa'yo para mag-grow ka. Diba? Professional development, self-growth. Engaging math class, yes please. Sobrang hirap po ng math pero I hope kahit na may humaharang na screen sa atin, sa mga estudyante natin at sa atin, sana ma-feel pa rin nila na, si teacher, concerned siya sa growth ko. Gusto niya talagang matuto ako sa math. And we need to target yun nga, yung affective domain. Paano natin mapaparamdam sa mga estudyante natin that despite we are not we don't see each other face to face, mararamdaman pa rin nila that we are caring, we have care on them, tapos gusto natin talaga ay yung full potential ma-maximize nila. Sige po, what's your answer? Ay, sorry, na-close ko yung vote. Ayan, open voting po tayo. Sige po, pwede nyo ring isend sa ating comment section. Interactive math lessons. Okay. Sige, yung iba po nagsisend na sa comment section. Thank you so much. Ayan, you're welcome po sa mga nagpapasalamat. And thank you so much po. I hope you can adopt some of the suggested activities that I've shared here. Pasimplihin lang po natin, pero yung quality hindi po sana mag-suffer. Pasisimplihin natin kasi ang mga bata na kinikater natin ay limited lang din ng resources. They also encounter uncontrollable instances such as having poor internet connection, poor signal, and limited devices. So, ang ganda po ng mga sagot ninyo, no? Provide quality education, yes, sulong edukalidad, and make math fun. Thank you so much po. Maybe balik na po ako sa inyo sa ating broadcast. Sir Bads and Sir Ken, thank you so much po. That's the end of my presentation. Maraming salamat sa inyong pag-participate.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Mary Joy Villarreal, for that very interesting discussion about the use of, or maximizing the use of Casio calculators in the new normal in education. Let us now call on our co-host, Mr. Kenneth Verdun. Hello, Sir Kenneth.
Hello, Sir Vads. Hello, Ma'am Joy.
Hello.
Grabe, that was a wonderful session that we had. Sobrang, I myself, no, with what you have shared, no, sa akin, number one, bago yung PowerPoint. Kasi I'm not using Microsoft PowerPoint, but I'm actually using, like, let's say, Google Slides or Keynote. And really, I see your heart, Ma'am Joy, no, when you are sharing your lesson, your techniques that you have used, no. Talagang one of the keys there in your sharing is to really simplify things, no. Kasi talagang totoo yan. Kahit yung mga nasa higher class, they really struggle din in internet connection. So as much as possible, for us to really straight to the point, share to the students what we would like to share to them, teach them, really is to simplify things and really make math fun using the strategies that we can incorporate in our lesson. So sobrang dami ko natutunan, Miss Joy, with what you have shared, no? Sobrang refreshing siya. Yeah.
Yeah.
Truly.
Ang pinaka-takeaway ko lang talaga dun sa naging discussion ni Ma'am is that sabi nga niya, di ba, yung kailangan natin gawing madali ang teaching and learning process. So, tulad na sinasabi ng aming head sa Educational Technology Unit, Mr. Mark Anthony Sisi, huwag natin gawing komplikado yung pagkatuto.
Yes.
Dahil na sa lahat, marami tayong pwedeng gamitin ng mga resources, maraming available dyan, and isa sa mga pwede natin gamitin ay mga Casio emulators na pwede nating ma-download. Speaking of Casio calculators, let us now call on the Educational Unit Head of Casio Calculators Philippines, ang boss nating lahat. Let's all welcome Mr. Joel Serrano. Hello, Sir Joel.
Hello guys. Good morning.
Ayan.
Good afternoon na pala to everybody. Mr. Kenneth, Sir Buddy, and of course to our team speaker for today. Honestly, I'm not surprised at all. Expected ko na yan. Joy Villarreal yan. So, I think she delivered it again and again, and napakaganda ng presentation. No? Actually, matagal kong kinonvince yan si Ma'am Joy to be part of the ETU group. No? And finally, nakita niyo naman yung effort ng ating teacher for today. Na-deliver niya, naitawid niya yung task niya for today. And I hope yung ating mga participants may maraming takeaway for today. No? And Sir Kenneth, maraming salamat din sa pagtawid kanina.
My pleasure. Ganyan talaga. Oo, ganito ngayon sa pandemya, no? Kailangan matuto tayong sumalo ng mga nalalaglag, di ba? Itaas ang mga nasa laylayan, ika nga. Di ba?
Ang galing ni Ma'am Joy, no? Di ba? Hindi naman
Yes.
mag-eyeglass na pula yan kung walang ibo. Yeah, honestly, it's a thumbs up, Ma'am Joy. Again and again, maraming salamat. Magandang presentation. I think, Sir Buddy, meron
Thank you
tayong
rin po.
invite ng
Yeah.
mga key people
Speaker.
para magbigay sa ano, no? Comment
Yes po.
para kay Ma'am Joy. Oh.
Okay, let's have our first commentator. Let's all welcome our Casio educator then, Mr. Reynaldo Torres. Hello, Sir Ray.
Wow.
Wow.
Turn on mute.
Good morning po. Ayan, naka-unmute na.
Morning, sir.
Hello.
So, any comments about our discussion, learning, suggestions about our topic this morning?
Yeah, sobrang ganda ng presentation ni Ma'am Joy, no? She has presented so many things. Hindi lang basta teaching strategy. It can be seen talaga and very evident that she's very well versed with the topic that she's discussing, no? Parang tinuturo niya na to ng 20 years or 30 years kahit na batang-bata pa si Ma'am Joy, no? And then with the technicalities na ginamit niya, yung mga presentations, na napaka-refreshing, lalo yung parang nagsusulat din siya doon sa presentation niya, no? So para mas madali ma-imagine talaga ng estudyante din na nanonood na nakikinig din na parang nasa classroom lang din sila. And then yung technique niya ng pagpe-present ng mga lessons, especially yung step by step, no, ang ganda ng ng process niya, ng flow ng discussion niya doon kasi talagang parang hinihimay niya para sa estudyante kung paano talaga madaling maintindihan yung dinidiscuss niya. And other than that, ang ganda ng aura ni Ma'am. Parang kahit sino na makapanood dun sa video, dito sa session na to, talagang maeenggan yung makinig, no? Kasi ang ganda-ganda ng aura ni Ma'am, tapos ang ganda pa niyang ngumiti din. So, yun. Totally napakagandang discussion for this morning.
Thank you po, Sir Tony.
Thank you, Sir Tony. And let's have our second guest commentator. Let's all welcome Sir Romel. Good afternoon, Sir Romel.
Hi! Magandang buhay po sa lahat, lalong-lalo na sa mga nanonood. Na-miss ko si Sir Tony, one of my idol. Hello, Sir Tony. Magandang buhay. But first and foremost, I would like to thank Sir Joel Serrano of Casio Philippines for giving me this opportunity to give an insight po about sa ating napakagandang session ngayong araw about the week 1 and 2 topic for grade 8 learners. Actually, nakakatuwa na dito ako na-assign kasi I have my cousin who is grade 8, incoming grade 8 siya ngayon. And then, yung mga tips na nabigay ni Ma'am mula umpisa hanggang sa dulo, talagang maa-apply ko siya. Of course, with the aid of the Casio ClassWiz. In fact, in the midst of this pandemic, we have a limited time with our dear students, and that is where the role of teaching aid like the Casio ClassWiz comes in. So napakaganda ng mga sharings ni Ma'am about dun sa factoring feature, sa square root feature, sa cube root feature, at saka dun sa equation function or shift plus solve feature ng ating Casio ClassWiz. Talagang napakaganda nung daloy ng discussion, Ma'am Joy Villarreal. According nga kay Sir Tony, parang 20 years na niyang ginagawa, talagang napaghandaan ng sobra. And then yung start activity, yung check-in na nai-relate doon sa pinakadulong activity na check-out activity, napakaganda po nun, no? Talagang connected and consistent po yung discussion ni Ma'am. Yung drop your answer challenge na think, type, tap, I will apply that, Ma'am, in my discussion this coming October 5 sa aking mga students. And then yung mga riddles, yung riddle decoding activity, and then yung roleta ng kaalaman, yung wheel of factors, talagang napakaganda. And then, ewan ko na lang kung may bata pang matatakot sa math kapag si Ma'am Villarreal, or if our dear math teachers like us po ay i-apply yung mga natutunan dito po sa ating session ngayon. And yung pinakamaganda or pinakagusto ko is yung commitment as an educator, as a parent and a student. Truly, communication is really a key na hindi lang tayong mga educator dapat yung participate dito sa gantong klase ng edukasyon. yung sulong kalidad ng ating DepEd. It's a collaboration within the community, within the tahanan, our home, and our school or yung ating paaralan. So let me just share my commitment as an educator bilang yun yung pinaka last na tinignan ni ma'am or binigyan pansin ni ma'am. I will use the Casio as acronym bilang nasa Casio tayo ngayon and nasa DepEd. So let me start with C. My C stands for careful. We should be careful because teachers, alam natin iisa lang yung katawan natin and really health is wealth. And being careful also in posting, no? Especially in our GCs, alam natin yan, may mga GCs tayo sa ating mga estudyante. We should always think before you click, no? And then A stands for act now. We should act now na alamin natin kung ano yung mga magagawa natin bilang mga guro. Alamin rin ng ating mga magulang sana or nawa kung ano yung kanilang magagawa o maitutulong sa kanilang mga mag-aaral. And of course, yung ating mga mag-aaral, dapat alamin rin nila ang kanilang role ngayon. And hindi lang basta dapat alam, they must act now, no? And letter S stands for situation. No, I must acknowledge the situation now. We must acknowledge the situation. And sa sitwasyon na ito, kailangan ng malawak na pangunawa. Pangunawa and understanding talaga. Malawak na pasensya. Although we teachers, si Sir Joel, the DepEd, alam ko napakalawak na ng ating mga pag-unawa. And then, next is for letter I, integrity. We must establish integrity, not only within ourselves, and then ipamahagi natin yung integridad na yun sa mga bata. Siyempre, daming forms of cheating ngayon, di ba? Isang type lang sa Google, makaka-search na sila. But let us maximize the tool that was given to us, especially the Casio ClassWiz Emulator na diniscuss nga kanina. Yun yung mga tools na magpapa-establish ng integridad sa ating mga kabataan at hindi yung mga tools for cheating na alam nila. And then O stands for know and maximize the opportunities, no? There is no room for negativities now but rooms for opportunities. Ito pong lahat ng ito ay bago sa atin, no? Tinitingnan ko kung ano-ano yung mga oportunidad na dumadating at hindi yung mga pagkukulang, no? Kung merong mga pagkukulang, kailangan po natin itong punan. Kailangan ko itong punan. So again, for Casio, careful, act, situation, integrity, and opportunity. Muli po, Ma'am Joy, congratulations. DepEd EdTech Unit sa napakagandang activity and the Casio Philippines, congratulations. And once again, thank you po for inviting me. Magandang buhay po sa lahat. Sa lahat ng mga nanonood, magandang buhay po. Hello, everyone.
Ayan, thank you very much, Sir Romel. Napaka-comprehensive ng kanyang discussion. No? This is the first time na nagkaroon tayo ng ganyang impression. I think it's all napakasiksik, liglig at nag-uumapaw ang message ni Sir Romel. At talagang tinignan niya ng ilang perspektibo yung komento niya doon sa nangyari ngayong araw na ito. And at this point, let us now have our last message coming from our guest co-host, Sir Kenneth Verdan, and realization and comments about our session this morning.
Sobrang first and foremost, natutuwa ako kasi with what Miss Joy has presented, no, sobrang makikita natin yung puso niya as an educator and how she's going to make her math class talagang interactive, relatable. And aside from the fact that she's maximizing the PowerPoint presentation, no, so makikita rin natin na talagang yung lesson niya is really fun-filled activities. Punong-puno talaga ng, and I also see that yung integration, siguro yun yung yung talagang dapat nating i-target as we make our lesson simple. Make sure na talagang we integrate, we show the real life application nung lesson natin, kasi in that manner we are going to showcase the importance of mathematics, no, because as we all know talagang especially parang ang problema nowadays, parang okay, the parents would probably have the concern pa paano matutunan ng bata yung math, especially ngayon pa na magkakahiwalay tayo, no? And I think with that approach, with that strategy of making our math class lively, interactive through the use of PowerPoint, and of course even classes, I believe that we will hit our target. So ako, as a private school teacher, with the 1 month that we had, no, in our online classes, sobrang tiring talaga siya. Kasi the effort that we can exert in here is really not hindi siya biro, kumbaga. And with that, really sobrang akong saludo sa mga teachers na talagang nagbibigay ng puso sa kanilang pagtuturo, even if we are from from different places, and talagang nagma-maximize din ng resources in order for the math classes to be more you call this lively, na talagang connected, yung wala talaga naiiwan, kumbaga. So I think that's also my secret to my classes as well, na so this, as much as possible, you have to have the environment, even in online, na everyone is belong in the class. No, kahit sa tingin ng bata mahirap ang math, but with the right techniques and strategy, no, just like what Miss Joy have shared to us, I know it is not just limited to just grade 8, no, but we can still extend that to some other levels, grade 7, grade 9, grade 10, and even in senior high school. And we're blessed that Casio, no, will really help us in order for our lesson to be more meaningful and integrative. So yeah, that's all, sir. Ayan.
Okay, thank you, Sir Romel, para sa isang napakagandang realization about our topic this morning. For one last time, let's have Ma'am Mary Joy Villarreal.
Hello po, maraming salamat po. Unang-una kay Sir Joel po for giving me this chance to share here in MATHtech Unit and Casio Calculators Philippines FB page, and to Sir Tony and Sir Romel for your kind words po and validation. How was the talk a while ago, and kung na-deliver ko ba siya ng ayos, and ano yung maaring key takeaways na makukuha natin from my sharing. Maraming salamat po, sobrang na-appreciate ko. And for Sir Ken, thank you for having parang joining us today. And Sir Bads, maraming salamat din po sa pag-host nitong ating session for today. Special shoutout po to my family. Pwede po ba mag-shoutout? Shoutout ko na.
Go lang, ma'am. Go lang po.
From Caloocan, and I'm also greeting all my colleagues from Caloocan National Science and Technology High School. Hello po sa aming coordinator, Ma'am Rona Coco, at sa aking mga katrabaho, to my friends there. Salamat din po sa mga students ko and friends na nanonood ngayon at nagtatag sa akin sa mga posts at nagko-comment, and Ate Reg for praying with me, praying for me. Maraming salamat din po. Ayan. Yan lang po.
Okay, let's have Mr. Joel Serrano. Sir Joel.
Ay, hello. Actually, parang wala na akong masabi kasi nasabi na lahat ng ating mga guest speaker, tapos ng ating mga commentators. And of course, maraming salamat sa mga nakinig, no. Actually, we have a new project right now. Kung gusto niyo magkaroon ng guest Casio teacher sa mga online classes nyo, just drop us an email, or you can PM us sa aming Facebook account. Then we can, grant your request na mag-provide ng isang Casio technical teacher as a guest sa inyong online learning sessions. Ayun, so next week, kita-kita tayo ulit. Meron tayong session naman for senior high school. We invited another Casio teacher that will make the discussion exciting din. Katulad ng ginawa ni Ma'am Joy. Maraming salamat, Sir Buddy. Ay, Sir Buddy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sir Joel, Sir Kenneth, Sir Reynaldo Torres, Sir Romel, and Ma'am Mary Joy Villarreal. Alam
Sir
ko,
Buds.
marami na namang natutuhan ng ating mga teachers pagdating sa paggamit ng technologies and different techniques para may handa sila sa new normal in education. Again, maraming salamat po. It's been a long day at napakaganda ng ating session ngayon. Dinagdagan pa at pinasiksik pa ng ating mga commentators at ng ating host for this morning. Again, on behalf of our Educational Technology Unit, we would like to extend our sincere thanks and gratitude to Casio Calculators and sa ating mga teachers na patuloy na nagiging bahagi ng pagsulong ng isang maganda at quality education para sa ating lahat. Again, thank you, Sir Romel. Sir Ray, thank you po. Sir Kenneth, thank you. Sir Joel, maraming salamat. And Ma'am Joy Villarreal. And natapos na naman po ang isa nating session ng Casio Tech Technology Session. Handog pa rin sa atin ang Casio Calculators Philippines. Dati sinasabi natin, sulong edukalidad, pwede na rin natin mailagay na sa mathematics, susulong ang edukalidad sa tulong ng Casio Edukalidad. Again, ako po si Salvador Manansala, Teacher Badge. Magandang umaga at magkita-kita po ulit tayo bukas magkita-kita po tayo sa Sabado para sa isa na namang session ng ating Casio Tech webinar session. It's a math day to all of us. Again, Happy Teacher's Day sa ating mga kaguruan sa buong Pilipinas. October 5, start na ng ating school year 2020-2021 at alam ko, lahat tayo ay handa na, sama-sama tayo, tulong-tulong tayo sa pagsulong ng edukalidad sa ating bansa. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat at God bless us all.